My question for him is, what are you doing there? And we know the answer. He'll have been directed, I suspect, by his wife. You've got to get back into the main game here, because that's where our money is. You spent the last 3 years trashing the royal family, all of them, naming them in your book and trashing them, embarrassing them. You've trashed the monarchy as an institution. You've called it being run effectively by a bunch of callous racists. Why are you there at the coronation of your father, who you've exposed to such ridicule and humiliation in Netflix series, in podcasts, in books? What are you doing rocking up now to the biggest royal event of your lifetime? And we know the answer. He'll have been directed, I suspect, by his wife. You've got to get back into the main game here, because that's where our money is. If we're not seen around the main royals at these big events, then very quickly our currency, the way we make money, disappears. And I hate to be cynical about it, but I think that's the only reason he's there. And if I was a member of the royal family, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, frankly. And I suspect it will be a very icy reception when he gets there. And from what I hear, almost nobody in the royal family right now is talking to him.
Yeah.
So, I ask one question. What are you doing there, having caused the damage you've caused?
Mistake that those relationships that we've discussed between Harry, the King himself, his brother, and the rest of the family are very, very fraught indeed. There was certainly a period leading up to the late Queen's final years and her passing, where the family were terrified that would be speaking to Harry and things would be used against them. And we of course had the very, very well publicised Oprah Winfrey interview. The fallout from that continued for a couple of years. Then that Netflix series, which was containing recordings that they were making right up the year before that they decided to leave. So listen, I think it'll be a very, very quick trip for Harry, in and out in a matter of days. We won't see him at the main celebrations like the balcony, a fly past and what have you at Buckingham Palace. So one may wonder if he'll keep his counsel and try to sort of fade into the background with this.
this procession that we're going to be seeing, the military procession around the King and Queen, is going to be twice as big as the one for the Queen's funeral and 3 times as big as the one for the Platinum Jubilee celebration. So this is going to be the biggest thing that this country has ever seen in terms of pomp and pageantry and procession since the Queen's coronation back in the 50s. So it's going to be a huge, huge spectacle, if nothing else.
Do you get a sense that because, I mean, obviously we only have one other example of one being televised, this is very different, all the lead up very different, 1 million people talking about it in forums such as this all the way around the world are very different, that it's impossible for this event to have the same punch that it did when it was Queen Elizabeth, or does all the extra noise add to it?
Look, I don't think you can follow Queen Elizabeth II. She was, in my estimation, the greatest monarch we've ever had. She was the longest reigning monarch we've ever had, and a quite unique and remarkable woman. And of course, she was able to accede to the throne through very unfortunate circumstances of the death of her father when she was just 26 years old. Massive difference to be a young, beautiful woman acceding to a throne with no social media or anything, just the world's mainstream media. Television just come in, of course, newspapers, and they shone this light on this dazzling woman around the world. Very different for Charles. He's heading towards 80. He's been the longest bridesmaid ever, and he now gets to be the king, the bridesmaid, if you like. And it's going to be a hard thing for him, I think, to try and emulate the enduring and extraordinary global popularity of his mother. But the bigger challenge for him, and you'll be very familiar with this, Paul, is what happens in many countries like Australia, where there is a bubbling sentiment of republicanism. Can Charles hold that at bay in the way that his mother did? Or are we going to start to see a number of referendums around the world where people who pled allegiance to the Queen may not want to be quite so keen to profess it to him? So that's the bigger challenge, really, for King Charles. Yes, Saturday will be a huge event, but actually the future of the monarchy is really the more serious issue at stake here.